the city building this up, and started 2 years ago with one team, and that was USA Field Hockey. And within 2 years, we've now grown to 15 teams, which is over double the largest in size in the United States. So very proud of that. And the future of where we plan to go is we hope that as we drive to LA, that we're representing over 80% of the athletes that participate in the Olympic Games when we come back to the United States. So very proud of that.
And when it came to the decision about how to give these elite athletes the best nutritional support, what did you decide?
Well, that was a no-brainer, and it's the reason why we're all here from all over the world at this conference. Juice Plus played an enormous part in my life. My son had a life-changing experience at the age of 4. Luckily, we were able to meet Tony when we came into town, which helped resolve that issue. We moved with, my wife and I had 3 other kids. We had all high-performing athletes. They still are to this day. So all of our kids started at a very young age on Juice Plus. My wife, Justine, is a master of tower guard, and we always have 2 to 4 of them going at any given time in our yard in the outback growing our food. And that was really what drove us to make that decision from the start, but that wasn't the only reason. When you have a facility like ours that is under the public eye all the time, everything that we do has to be scrutinized and looked at the finest level. So the studies that Juice Plus has in this field is unrivaled. And between my personal experience combined with the science that backs the Juice Plus product, it made it a no-brainer to go with those products.
Woohoo! All right, so what we're calling it at the USPC is the Juice Plus Performance Protocol. It's a little bit of a bit to get out, and it is a required and integral part of your program. The fruit, the veggie, the berry, functional plant powders in capsules. They've been taking it for the past year. We started this about a year ago, and soon the omegas and the daily complete shake will be added to that protocol. What are the benefits of focusing on not just macronutrition, but the micronutrition? And I know we just heard a lot of it from Dr. David Phillips.
The biggest thing with high-performing athletes is they don't have any time off. And I think we all see this with our kids nowadays, where like it used to be when we grew up that you had off seasons and they called it in exercise science periodized cycles. So you would go through different parts of training where you would focus on either strength, power, energy system development, and then taper for events. Today with high-performing athletes and with all of our kids, it doesn't really exist that way anymore. There are no off seasons. So any downtime is the body's basically breaking down and atrophying. So the important thing is not losing any of that time. So anything from illness to delayed onset of muscle soreness, the ability for the body not to recover, these are all things that we just cannot have when you're training the highest level athletes, or when you guys are all looking at your kids and they're moving from one sport to another or playing in multiple sports at one time. The ability for their body to stay fresh and fight those things off and recover is of utmost importance.
Amazing, amazing. And we know because of our research, and you just heard from Manfred and Dr. Phillips, we have that huge volume. What's happening at the cellular level, right? Less inflammation, better vascular capacity, less damage from oxidative stress, and support for their metabolism and immune system. So very important. So the first teams to train at USPC were USA Women's Field Hockey and USA Taekwondo. So they're the ones who've been taking the trio for a full year. Tell us how they're performing with Juice Plus, optimizing their nutrition intake.
Well, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's happening right now as we're all here right now, but in Santiago, Chile, are the Pan American Games going on right now, and both of those teams are there. And Taekwondo went first, and we're very happy to report they won 7 medals, the most ever in U.S. history, which is phenomenal.
Wow.
That's 4 golds, 1 silver, and 3 bronze, which is absolutely incredible, never done before. And field hockey played on Wednesday in their first game and won 15-0, and now will be playing later today. So they're crushing it right now.
Amazing, amazing. Let's give a big round of applause for them. So you can follow along and see some of the success stories if you follow them on Instagram. It's at US Performance Center. So make sure you're following along, because I think even on the story there's some video of the Taekwondo athletes winning, so it's pretty fun. So we know the Juice Plus Performance Protocol is not just for athletes, right? It's for all of us. We all want to be our best self. We all want to have the energy and the health to fulfill our personal mission in life. We want to not just survive, we want to thrive. So I know one of your initiatives is to use the USPC to innovate prevention and healing for all of us. Tell us a little bit about that.
So we are very excited. One of the main reasons, as Tony said, that the state has gotten so involved in what we're doing was not only for the economic impact and notoriety of all these teams coming to North Carolina, setting up residency here, being a part of this community. The other side was the lower Medicaid costs in the state of North Carolina. That is the largest bill that every state faces every single year in their state budgets. So right now we have moved forward with our neurological equipment, where we are now in an NIH Center of Excellence research study at the Medical University of South Carolina. So very excited about that. They have all of our equipment, and the results of that will be out in the next 6 months, which is very promising and showing shortened recovery times and a higher level of quality of life after suffering a stroke. So just one of the many things that we have implemented and taken from high performance and those athletes and then turned it around to everyday citizens and individuals.
Amazing. And that study is helping stroke victims, right?
That's right. That's correct.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to take just a moment, because my job is to say, how can this partnership help you in the field? Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, so imagine that you were talking to the owner of a dance company, or the coach of a soccer team, or the owner of an athletic training facility in your town. What can you do? What can you go in and say? We're going to give you some tools for that, but all you say is, my company has a partnership with the United States Performance Center. All of the elite athletes and Olympians do the Juice Plus Performance Protocol, and now that is available to your gym, to your facility, to your cheerleaders, to your small business, to your corporation, because performance gives an advantage, and everyone is looking for an advantage. Am I right?
Yes.
So that's how we're going to use it. And I've been using this the last couple of months and saying that, and people are like, yeah, sign me up, let's go. So it really does work, and we're going to give you tools for that. David, I wanted to ask a question. Are all the athletes that train at USPC Olympians? Are they Olympic athletes?
So that's an interesting question. When Ike and I started, I never forget when we were getting our Olympic designation at the time, we got on the phone with their coordinator and we're like, we want an Olympic designation. And they're like, well, you guys got to slow down a little bit. You don't just call up and get one of those. And they kept saying this word NGB, and we didn't even know what that was. And Ike and I are looking at each other on the phone like, we don't even know what this is, but you obviously have to go along and until you sort of get the answer. Before I get into all of that, I think it's important in our lifetimes of everybody in this room. It's very exciting, especially for us and what we're doing with our movement, is we're going through an unprecedented time right now with the Olympic movement. You have Paris right now coming up, followed by Italy in the Winter Olympics, LA 28 coming back to America, to Australia, back to America. We have an unprecedented run where this is going to be readily available and on the highest stage for all of us to view, which is very exciting. But overarching is the IOC, which is the International Olympic Committee, that oversees the entire Olympic movement. And then every country has an organization that controls the Olympic movement. And that's decided by Congress, by the federal government. And ours is the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee. And that committee oversees over 50 different organizations called NGBs. And those are national governing bodies of sport. So any sport that anybody can think of in here is overseen and organized by one of those organizations. We have 15 of them here right now, with more slated to come in the coming years. And all of those team members that are part of those organizations that reside in a residency program are considered national team members. So right now we are the largest by over double in size of one facility that's training those Olympic team members. When you meet certain qualifying standards, the Olympic standards, then you are an Olympian, and then you will go to the Olympic Games. The most powerful thing is when your country has that. So normally America will send to a Summer Olympics around 300 or plus athletes, but when you are the host country, everybody qualifies. So when we go into LA in 28, we will have over 600 athletes qualifying to go to the Olympic Games. So that's a little breakdown.
And all of them will be taking Juice Plus. Pretty cool. David, I know you and Ike had your dream almost come to fruition multiple times, and things kept happening to make you start over. Some of us have that experience.
Yep.
Can you share what kept you going and gave you the drive and resilience needed to persevere?
Well, I think right away, me personally, it was definitely my wife, Justine, and family drove me. And my business partner, because he's been here 9 generations, everybody in Charlotte knows his family and knows how big it is. So he had tremendous support from his family. And that definitely goes a long way. But both Ike and I are athletes at heart and very competitive. And as you can imagine, like me standing here today, 5 years ago, we would walk into meetings and people would literally laugh us out of the room saying that we were going to do what we're doing today. This has never been done before. What we are doing right now has never been done. So believe me, we've heard everything under the sun of this will never happen. How do you think this is going to work? How is your science going to revolutionize athletes? Like two normal individuals just coming out, sort of conquering this big mammoth was definitely at our plate. And it was a 10-year battle, as you know, Tony. We've known each other for almost 2 decades now. So it was a 10-year battle to get to where we are now today. But today it's great to say, we're the biggest in the world at it right now and driving that from the United States. So it's very powerful.
So we're all going to pull out our inner athlete when we have naysayers, right? We're not going to give up. All right. We combined with USPC and our amazing company to produce a video for you to use in the field. Let's take a look.